I am Saswat and I am a graduate student at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. I do research on biomaterials, which is typically at the interface of materials on one hand and biology on the other. Now, I like to think of cells as some sort of magical materials that do some activity all the time, and I'm sure they must be doing something as I'm talking to you now. Now, the advent of newer materials, be it metals, polymers, ceramics, or composites, combined with innovations in the design space, has put forward a lot of engineering solutions to some of the most pressing biological questions. If we talk of any major obstruction in any of the channels or conduits inside our bodies, be it blood vessels which pump blood throughout the body all the time, or be it the food pipe through which we ingest food, from there all the way to the GI tract or the respiratory tract, from the airways all the ways to the lungs or the urethral tract. Now, any sort of obstruction in all these channels or conduits can cause significant amount of pain to the person, and if not treated in some way, it can also lead to fatality. Now, one possible clinical treatment to this challenge is stents. Now, what are stents? Stents are tubular constructs of the right dimensions matching that with the tissue, which are put inside the diseased part to maintain or to hold the duct open and maintain patency for some amount of time. But now, having said that, now the currently available stents have three major problems. Number one, they come in a very narrow range of shapes and sizes, which means the patient might not be able to find the stent of the right dimensions matching his or her needs. The second is they are mostly non-degradable, which means they persist in the body for a long period of time, which would mean a lot of things like the immune cells can cause inflammatory reactions, and they can wall off the foreign device from doing its function, and if at all they have to be removed, the patient needs to perform a revision or a second surgery, which would mean increased hospitalization time, increased cost, causing extreme discomfort and pain to the patient. Now, the third major problem is the way of deploying the stent, which is mostly through surgery. Now, what my research focuses on is to basically solve some of the clinically relevant challenges that the current stents have. Number one, we focus on 3D printing as the processing technique. Now, why we go for this particular technique? Because it allows great flexibility in terms of design. We can make more patient-specific stents quite rapidly that can suit each specific patient needs. Second, we focus on bioabsorbable polymers as the choice of material because it can literally disappear in the body after a certain amount of time. Now, what advantage it will have? Basically, it reduces any secondary complications that a permanent stent would have, like inflammatory reaction or a foreign body giant cell formation over a period of time. It also reduces the need of having to go through a second surgery to remove the stent because it can absorb on its own. Lastly, we also think of ways of deploying the stent through a minimally invasive manner because it can cause a significant reduction in the amount of pain caused to the patient who has to undergo a surgery otherwise. Now, how we do that? We use shape memory polymers for that matter. We basically print the stent into an original conformation, and we compress it so that it can go inside a catheter, and then we place inside the body. And once it is placed at the exact location where we want it to, we trigger that externally by using light or magnetic field, and upon that the polymer changes the initial compressed shape and expands to the original conformation. So yeah, that's all. Thank you for hearing me out.